The opposition had planned the demonstrations even before the president appointed Bruno Shibala as the country's new prime minister on April the 7th. Elsewhere, supporters of South Africa's embattled President Jacob Zuma heckled and disrupted a speech by sacked Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan in which he condemned corruption in the governing African National Congress. The crowd burst into songs praising Mr. Zuma at the memorial for veteran anti-apartheid activist Ahmed Kathrada in the president's political heartland of KwaZulu-Natal. Mr. Gordhan also warned that divisions in the ANC could cost the party in the 2019 elections. A senior official of the South African Communist Party, SACP, was also booed after he called for the resignation of the president. Mr. Zuma is to face an opposition-sponsored no-confidence vote in the parliament next week after it accused him of being reckless with the economy. Some 6,000 people, mostly women and children, have fled to Uganda, East Africa, after a recent attack on Pajok town in South Sudan. This brings the number of South Sudanese refugees sheltering in Uganda to over 830,000. UN peacekeepers have been trying to get into Pajok, which is near the border with Uganda, after unconfirmed reports emerged of mass killings.
Lucy Uban escaped and walked for 2 days to get to the refugee center in Lamwo district in Uganda. When attack happened, Ama and her children ran in different directions. They found each other at the border. The soldiers were looting, breaking doors and beating people. They would arrest you and ask you to show them where the rebels are. But when you tell them you don't know, they beat you. They killed people. I am happy even though I have nothing to eat and I have lost everything. My children are alive. I was so scared. I didn't know if I would see them again. The bullets were flying everywhere and you couldn't move. You had to lie on your belly. I'm very grateful I'm alive. The assault on Pajok is the latest in a series of attacks in the fertile equatorial region. Many towns and villages in the region are now deserted. Some 1.7 million South Sudanese refugees are living in exile as the brutal conflict pushes even more people into neighboring countries. Most of them, some 830,000, are sheltering in Uganda. The new arrivals are stretching Uganda's limited resources to the limit.
See, we need this emergency water, we need shelter, we need medical, we need food, and attending these child protection issues.
Only 11% of the funding needed by UNHCR and partners to respond to the world's fastest growing refugee crisis has been received so far. South Sudan succeeded from Sudan in 2011 after decades of war, but has been mired in factional conflict since President Salva Kiir sacked his Vice President Riek Machar in 2013. The fighting that followed has often split the country along ethnic lines.
Staying in Uganda, activist Stella Nyanzi has been charged with cyber harassment over a Facebook comment in which she referred to President Yoweri Museveni as a pair of buttocks. Her official charge sheet describes the reference as obscene and indecent. Unexpectedly, there's no mention in the official charge sheet of the insults she aimed at the president's wife, Janet. However, abusing the president is a criminal offense and easier to prosecute. That's if proven. The spat started in February when Mrs. Museveni told Parliament that there was no money in next year's budget to buy sanitary pads for girls in schools. Meanwhile, the hashtag Free Stella Nyanzi has been trending across the country. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has honored victims and survivors of the 1994 Rwanda genocide. He recognized, according to him, the UN recognizes their pain and courage and the struggles they face even today. That's a generation later. This comes as the country marks the 23rd anniversary of the genocide.
It is less than a quarter century since the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, where more than 800,000 people were systematically murdered, overwhelmingly Tutsi, but also including moderate Hutu, Tutwa, and others who opposed the genocide. And today we remember all those who perished. We also honor those who survived. We recognize their pain and courage and the struggles they face even today, a generation later.
What you see today is me, dressed in a cloak of healing, which is often forgiving, and will be in production forever. Thursday, April 7th, 1994, was a very quiet day. It seemed like a Sunday, and Mom told my sisters and I to wear our Sunday clothes, and she started preparing for us a meal. This was special because as a working mother, she only used to cook on the weekends. When I look back, I now understand it was supposed to be our last meal together.
A Kenyan national accused of being the mastermind of a drug syndicate has arrived from Madagascar following his deportation from that country. Ndechuma Kimali is due to appear in court on drug trafficking charges. He fled to Madagascar in April 2015 after he was accused of being linked to heroin seized in a ship which was blown up by Kenyan authorities in the Indian Ocean. He is yet to make any comment on these allegations. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime has on several occasions cited Kenya as a transit point for the repackaging and shipment of drugs to Europe and America. Well, troops of the Nigerian army in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, have killed a suspected suicide bomber while he was trying to gain entry into the University of Maiduguri. The public relations officer of the university, Tanko Ahmed, confirmed the incident. He says the terrorist gained entry into the university through its back gate at about 11 p.m. on Sunday, but he was sighted by a soldier before anything could happen. Mr. Tanko explains that the area where the incident occurred has been cordoned off by security agents. It's the second attack in Maiduguri in 3 days. No damage, serious damage was done to the university premises. Coming up on the program, Kenyan couple wins male and female races of the Paris Marathon. That's in a moment.